I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me on. This is a blast. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to welcome to my home studio here. I don't have the professional lighting or the professional anything that Jeff possesses, so we're going to delve into that.
Beautiful.
We're going to delve into that. Kale Hernandez asked me a question right off the bat this morning. I said, hey, I'm interviewing Jeff from Dirty Pinball. And he said, I want to know where he came from. I want to know his history, his story, because I understand he's coming on your podcast in a couple of weeks, right? Him and Rachel?
He is. July 8th or July 1st, I think. I'm very stoked. It'll be the first arcade I actually have on it. And, you know, I mean, part of the reason I started the podcast is to try to get a little bit more transparency between like both pinball companies, arcades, and then consumers as well. So I want to, you know, like people don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And pinball people love to have an opinion on like what's going on with games. And I feel like there's more to what's going on behind the curtains. And sometimes it's not justified and the companies have, you know, they need explaining. There's explaining to do, you know? And sometimes it's just educational. So
you come out of the bat hot, right? Like, you know, none of us, when we all first started, I started in COVID like so many of us, right? The first few to 10 podcasts are unlistenable sometimes to me because I just don't, it's not the guest's fault. It was totally my fault, right? You don't have any of those. There's no, you come out of the bat swinging already. What are you on? How many podcasts have you done? And they're all very good.
Thank you. I mean, I still feel like I'm learning, and I think that there are definitely holes in the, you know, like the first ones are a little rough. And I think that a lot of like talking to you, talking to some of the people that are on Twitch, like I've had so many people help me kind of like onboard fast to get it up here. But I have a history in post-production. Like I have a post-production company. So like I'm used to making stuff look and sound good, but I'm not used to being like a personality on the internet among anything. So that was, I mean, I didn't do this because I like living in my little hole and not being seen or heard. So that was like a huge hurdle to get over and become like, okay, well, I guess I need to talk to people and not be afraid of that.
So many artists are in this hobby in and of itself, and so many artists are in the content creation space. If you look at them, like Rachel is an artist. I mean, she really is. And so many people like myself have this itch. You know, we entered the professional world. We did not enter the creative world. And so we just scratch our itch with this great podcast that we're doing. So we're on Riverside, by the way, FM. What do you think? You know, it's the constraints are the internet, right? So if it buffers or any of that, but the software itself is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, for an all-in-one package, I got to be honest, it was pretty easy just to hop on and have everything kind of like just work. And I'm using my OBS virtual camera, and I kind of have a weird audio setup just to be able to do the things that I'm doing, and it had no problem picking it up. So,
there you go. So let's delve back into, you have a post-production background. It's obvious you know what you're doing, right? With the video quality that you've done. Why the live podcast? What gave you that idea to do it live with Twitch? Because the only one that else is really doing that is Buffalo Pinball. They do it.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I think it's just because, like, honestly, the people on Twitch, like, I didn't start on YouTube. I didn't really start on Instagram. Twitch was the avenue for when I did the Twilight Zone pinball. Like, I'd done a custom audio package for it and was just like, I need to stream this. And I've watched Bowen for decades on the, you know, and I've been watching pinball tournaments for forever, and was just like, you know, this is going to be a better format to show this off. So the people that have been watching me on Twitch are what helped grow the channel to begin with. So I was just like, I started with doing a Kong and a Dune kind of like live reaction to when the footage for that came out. And just like, because I was like, I don't know, bored. I didn't feel like setting up the whole rig to do a game, and I wanted to talk about it. And the people on the channel had a lot of interesting feedback for it. And it was just nice to be able to kind of like live go back and forth with what was going on. And then I was like, man, I bet this would translate pretty good to a podcast. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start pinging some people in the industry and around, see if they're interested. You know, I feel like the channel has a professional look to it to a certain degree, and like maybe they'll want to be on it. And, you know, doors just started opening. People want to be on the podcast, and it's just kind of like it's doing its thing.
You know, people in this community, if you ask, most of them will say yes, right? And so
Sure.
you know, the only other one that was doing really interviews was Pinball Profile. And I didn't really want to step on Jeff's toes because Jeff Teolis has a different aspect of what he does. And I was like, well, I'm a recruiter. I interview people professionally for a living. This could be really fun for me, right? But audio-wise, I had to learn all of this. I had to learn audio, video, how to deal with OBS, all these things that you don't have to do. So you kind of, I'm very jealous of the fact.
Well, hold on there. My background definitely helped for post-production, but dude, shout out to like every streamer that does this professionally, because as soon as I like jumped into the OBS boat, I was like, holy shit, like this is way harder than it looks. Like people that just think you can put on a, you know, funny cat costume and, you know, just jump on the internet and suddenly it's easy. You click a few buttons. It's not like that. And to make it look and sound good, it's hard.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Bone Cairns and Carl D'Angelo and Tom Graff and JBL Pinball. Those are the four that I went to when my stream sucked, because I wanted to do and have the quality that they had and Jack Danger had. And they, unlike any other hobby, just said, here's what you need. Here's what you need. What can I help? What can I do to help you? Carl D'Angelo, I should send him a fruit basket. How many times I bothered him, right? It's
he's gonna be here live in a couple of weeks. So he was actually supposed to be here 2 weeks ago, but he got sick. Poor Carl is getting sick like every other week. I feel so bad for him. If it isn't a cold, it's COVID, and if it's not COVID, it's something else.
Well, get well soon.
But I mean, you're right about the community being super welcoming. There hasn't been a single person that I've met who's just been like, no, I have these pinball stuff is top secret. I'm not going to help you or something like that. Exactly. It's just like, we all do this because we love the hobby, not because it's, I don't know, financially beneficial or something like that.
No, I'm that's one of the best things about this hobby is that any content creator, if you say, hey, how are you doing this? They'll tell you and they'll help you and they'll guide you through it. Like I dumped OBS and went YOLO box.
Oh yeah, I have one, but I haven't used it yet. How is the interface?
Not there yet. I would say a brand new pinball machine launched without the code. How about that?
So every game, every game, 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Right? The YOLO box Extreme is not. It's not 1.0 code. I can tell you that. All right.
Gotcha.
I'd put it in the 60s. There's a lot that it needs to do, especially for tournament streamers like me. I need to be able to put up the scores of the players. So I need a web interface, and the web interface is just not good enough yet. It's good enough.
Is that something? Are they adding that? Because I got the OBS box for similar. I wanted to stream tournaments, but I'm not doing it with like commentary and scores posted yet. I just want to. There's so many tournaments that are popping up in Los Angeles, and I just want to give an avenue for that to be on the internet, just because I can't imagine how many arcades have good players playing and people can't watch it.
Too, Jeff, and it's a wormhole you're going to go down, because when I was with the wormhole, I was just going to do our stream, and then it became, I got addicted to tournament streaming, and that's my warning to you, because tournament streaming is really fun, and those viewers with your quality are going to love it, and you're going to start adding the overlays. You're going to start, I'm telling you, you're going to push OBS to the limit like I did. Like
well, not if I'm using the OBS bot or the YOLO box, you know.
if you use, like, I'm really close to building a new rig for Eureka Heights brewery, which is right down the street from me, and I'm going to start streaming tournaments there. And the YOLO boxes, we're so close. We're so close, and that's a shout out to Ralph.
Do you think it's a platform? Is it viable now, or is it like not worth it?
Yeah, it's very viable. It is fast. It is stupid proof. It doesn't crash. It's just little things like for the tournament guys, putting the scores up is a little cumbersome. Okay.
And like the last thing you wanted to do is, I think there's so much that goes on in a tournament that you don't want it to be more difficult to get the information onto the platform, I imagine.
It's it's annoying enough that I can get through it. Right. Okay. And you can't draw on it yet. That's a mistake, right? Like you got to be able to draw when you're doing commentary. And I used to,
yeah. I mean, like,
hey, they need to be hitting this shot. They need to be doing this, or they're more than likely going to be doing this one with the great players.
Especially for people that aren't familiar with pinball, like, you know, you talk about certain shots or certain spots on the playfield verbally, like you
got to be able to draw on it.
People to know what you're talking about. Right?
Tournament wise, even flipping out pinball, look at Joel streams, sits there, you know, he's constantly doing it for the players that want to watch and want to know his in-depth knowledge of the rules. So anyway, that's not an available feature yet. So I've been on their ass on chat.
Maybe if we double team them, maybe we can get
let's go.
Get some features into it.
Because the YOLO Box Extreme is pretty great. It just needs a couple of add-ons for us on the.
Would that make us YOLO bros, you think?
Well, me, you, and Ralph.
Can we trademark that?
Me, you, and Ralph, and I think Carl's going to be a YOLO bro too soon. So,
dude, the salt and pepper squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's go. All those dudes. We'll make it happen. So, Ralph, Kale, you answer Kale's question where you came from. Ralph has a question for you. Retro Ralph, and wants to know: are you into the Illuminati? What is with the eye?
No, the Illuminati gag is specifically just because the first pinball machine that I wanted to stream, the whole reason that I started this was Twilight Zone. Okay. And the pyramid, the power pyramid is like the whole gag on Twilight Zone. It's part of the power play field. You blow it up with the Powerball. Like it's literally the theme of that. And then as soon as I was just like building the channel, I was just like, man, it'd be cool to just theme it just in some way. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go whole hog on this cult Illuminati thing, the cult of pinball. And then as we started building rewards, you know, I wanted, like, I don't trigger any of the rewards on the stream. Like that's like sometimes a joke, but like whenever we get new followers, like we have this whole gag where they get a bath by this guy that we've, you know, named Tub Guy. And, you know, we just have all these rewards that are specifically designed around what's interacting and happening on the stream. But like, it's up to chat to make it happen. Like I want them to kind of like drive the boat on terms of like what the interaction for it is. Cause I can't stand Twitch streams where the interaction feels fake. Like I hate Jimmy Fallon. Like I hate everything about his like just fake candor and like it's just like when he talks to guests, it's like you can tell he's just checking boxes instead of trying to get into the nitty gritty. And like when I did the podcast, I'm like, we were talking, Colin, I'm from Kineticist and some others were talking on the Discord about asking Stern some questions. And I was just like, there were some questions that people would be afraid of getting their channel like black marked or whatever. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like I will ask them that. And it's like for the development of pinball, not because I want to start like drama with them. And it's just like, I don't think companies should be dodging tough questions about products that are being sold to people for an expensive amount. Like, and pinball machines are totally an entertainment product. They're not necessary. Nobody needs a pinball machine.
No question.
So, you know, I want pinball to get better and I want the companies to be on board with that. But if they're going to start like blacklisting people just because they don't like what they're saying, if it's critical in a way that is criticism that can help benefit the like end product, right?
Right.
They should listen.
How do you handle it's how you portray the criticism. It's how you just, you know, I'm fucking this all up, so I'll edit this out, but it's how you.
Why? It's true.
No, you know what I mean? It's how you present that criticism is the damn word I'm trying to get to here.
Totally. And like, I have ripped D&D apart. And a lot of that comes because it was a game that I was like really excited for. I don't think it's a good game. And, you know, when people ask me that on the stream, like I get really into it. I get in a whole lot of detail about what design wise I think is the fallacy of it, where it could be taken to improve it, where it can't because of just like how the geometry of the playfield is. So when people come to watch, like I want them to not just hear me bitching and moaning and making a lot of noise about pinball, but like it's an educated opinion. And if they want that information, then they can take that and pair it with their own opinion and make a decision on what they want to do.
Let's delve into D&D. You brought it up. I love D&D. Why should I not love it?
So D&D, this is like the best avenue for me to talk about it, I guess. This is the moment, right?
Yeah.
So I think that D&D suffers from its primary design language for the playfield, and the movement of the ball is about setting the ball up on the upper right flipper. And that's because the lower right flipper feeds two important shots that only feed that flipper, right? You can shoot the Fismo shot, which then launches it over to the flipper, or you can hit the left orbit and then it feeds down to the upper right flipper, right? Now on paper, that's fine. There are other shots you can make with it, like backhanding, but look at the shots that you can backhand. You can't really backhand the right ramp. The center shot is not fun. You should, as soon you can, 20 minutes after you're playing D&D, you're done hitting the center spinner because it's so easy, right? So the only three shots that really are like matter for it are the dragon targets, which drain immediately. You got to put the shield up to use it, or the Fismo shot and the left orbit. Now, since both of those shots feed the upper right flipper, now the whole game is just about getting the ball up there. So now the second part of this that is a problem is that it's stop and go. It takes too long for the fucking ball to get like launched over there and then grabbed. Mechanically, those elements both fail. The left ramp and the right magnet short out after about 25 minutes of play. They overheat. So now the two fucking primary reasons of playing the game no longer function. And then you can't even see the ball feeding that consistently because there's so much junk up there. There's three ramps. There's the sign for the vertical up kick. Everything clouds your ability to know when to time that upper right flipper shot. Now, the guys from Pinball Underground, shout out to Enzo, came up with a great idea on how to resolve that, which is using the center button to capture the ball with the cube. So you shoot it up there, and then you can hit the button to trigger the magnet to grab it. That way you get a consistent feed down to that flipper. It solves not being able to see any of that stuff. So I just think that the game is designed around a mechanic that's not fun.
So you pop, not only does it bring up your shield, but it also brings the under the gelatinous cube.
Right. Use it as a way to grab the ball. Again, adding a mechanic for a center button, a third mechanic, is not the best design choice, but it would provide an ability to grab it. So, and then the other thing that I'm like, I don't understand how they didn't do this is the map. Okay. I have the idea for putting a map in there, which is, I think, personally a great idea. And I hope Stern is listening and maybe will consider this. When you complete a town, you can shoot Fismo, and guess what's in the shop? A map that you can buy. And when you buy the map, then for that city, you can now go into the dungeon and it will have gridded out classic D&D style, everything about the dungeon. So now because the issue with the dungeons is you spend 30 seconds in there at tops before you drain. You never get to explore them. It's so boring, right? So they solved that supposedly recently by adding a 20-second ball save.
That's right.
So yeah, they add this 20-second ball save, but still you can't out-explore it just because when the 20 seconds runs out, it's done. So it would fit into the mechanics and layering of what they have in the game already. Beat the town, buy the map, then you can go to the dungeon and know exactly where everything is and explore it, as you would in D&D.
What do you think about leveling the character itself as a future for Stern Pinball machines? That's not what I like about pinball, but I totally get why people like it. And that's where I'm like, that's an opinion-based thing. Like, I think the geometry issues with D&D are like a global problem, but I think that the progression stuff is like up to the player. Like, if you like being able to jump back in and get further and actually get to a wizard mode, like people that are like not amateur, but people that aren't sitting playing pinball 4 hours a day that want to see what the final wizard mode in a game is should be able to do that. And Stern added that by the addition of like Monster Zero, not Monster Zero, but like you can go straight into the main wizard modes in a few games as like a fun challenge thing. So I get it. I think that's fine, but that doesn't fix the geometry of a game. No, it doesn't. All right. Well, you made some good points. You haven't swayed me yet. You're right about the dungeon. The game should be Dungeons or Dragons. Somebody said that to me recently. And that's a really good point.
That's pretty funny. I dig that.
But I still dig the game, and it does well on location. That thing's printing money.
Absolutely. I've heard every arcade saying that it's just like hemorrhaging quarters in the best possible way.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, part of me is just butthurt. Like, I really wanted D&D to be awesome. And then after jumping on it, like, I wanted Brian Eddy to come out with like a big win because, his other games were getting criticized in ways that I didn't think was like super, like, I don't know. People seem to really shit on Venom, and they really didn't like, Stranger Things is just Attack from Mars, but his other games were receiving a lot of criticism, and I was like, these are kind of fun. I don't get what all the hate is.
Yeah, I
And
quite
then when
like Mandalorian. Honestly,
sure.
I enjoyed.
Michael from
spending time
Dry
on that.
doesn't like it, and I haven't asked him why, but I'm curious. He's on record saying he hates it. It's like the biggest thorn in his side for the whole franchise.
No, you need time. He needs more time on that machine. That's all. Just
I
needs
agree.
more time. Just needs more time. It's much more fun than you really think, especially when you delve into those rules and understand that you want to bounty hunt and you want to do all these different things and light your multipliers and then get your multi-ball and then do some modes and then do multi-ball. Stack the hell out of it, Jeff.
And I'm curious to see how the code's going to develop for these games. Same with Kong, but Kong's super fun right now, like right out of the box. Like I love Kong. Like I'm not a Stern hater. Like I think that I want these games to be great, and Kong's awesome. It's so much fun. I dig it. I
dig Kong. Yeah, I'm having a really good time on Kong. I'm starting to really learn it, and they're constantly updating it. So it's been a hell of a lot of fun. What do you think about these companies releasing pinball machines that just aren't ready though, when the code is just not there?
Yeah, this is a problem in the industry. I talked to David, was on my podcast, David Van from Barrels of Fun, and there's problems where the games like are being released. This problem is like twofold, right? It's that pinball machines are software now. They're not like they were in the 80s and 90s where it was more of just a matrix of on and off switches. Like this is a lot more going on. And because of that, the modern way of developing software is to release it and then patch it to get it to the point where you need it to be. So there's two argument standpoints here. Is where does it need to be, right? If it's not released and people aren't playing it on a large scale, how do they know where the game should go? And you can look at games like Jaws, where like I don't think Jaws would be where it is without people playing it and saying like, hey, this is not fun or this is fun, and they need that feedback, right? So where do you want a game to be when it comes out is a better question. And for me, I think like a game should have all of its modes, right? I think that there should be at least 2 multi-balls.
Yeah.
But where is that line? Like, and I think it's different for everybody. So certain people are tolerant of games that come out broken or like code light, if you want to call it that, versus games that are like feature complete. So
our community hammers on this. And part of it is rightfully so, because the games are not complete. And then what happens is a game that isn't complete starts falling in price because it's been 6 months. It's been a year and they're not at 1.0. But
I think that's great because then you have the opportunity to pick a game up for cheaper. Like pinball machines are economically. If you're buying games,
it's not a bad move. But you're also picking up an incomplete game, hoping that it is going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's making you buy a fucking $8,000 to $13,000 pinball machine on day one. Stern's business, here's what is a bigger issue. Stern's business model is based on FOMO. 100%. They are setting it up to make people feel like they need to get on board to find out and play the latest game. They've got the pro version, which goes out to, operators for the most part, and as a more budget friendly for people. They have the premium version, which is going to go into homes, and they know this. So they make the premium version the last one that's produced. They put the LEs out first to try to bait people that are, like me, that want to stream it or have disposable income and want to be first so they can do braggy rights or whatever. And then they do the pro versions for the operators. So like, you think Stern isn't aware of this? Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And because of that, it won't change. It just won't.
No, because it makes money.
That's right.
Right. I mean, we want them to make money, right? And the pinball community can be
mad about that, but Stern is a business. They're supposed to make money. That's the whole point of running a business. And you cannot make new pinball machines and buy new licenses with gratuity or promises. So they need to be able to show projections and make money and then be able to do it. So you mentioned that pinball people in the community are upset about that. And that's true. But pinball people love to have a strong opinion on stuff. And I think that if Stern was more transparent about when code updates were coming through roadmaps, if they were more transparent on like release timelines for their games, that you're treating the consumer with respect by showing them that you care about their feedback, even though you are a business. And they just don't do that now. Like, look at Uncanny X-Men. How many people own an Uncanny X-Men and are being like, where's my code?
Well, all of them.
Absolutely. But do you think that that's fair? Like, as a consumer, like, I feel like they should, at this point, after, God, how has the game been out, a year? Like, how long has the game been out?
It launched right before Expo, right?
Last year. So that would have been October, like just before October, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been out for 6 to 9 months. And, you know, there's been very little progress on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be furious as a consumer, but also, like, why did I buy the game when it wasn't complete?
There's the rub. I've been doing a lot of nodding at you, Jeff, today. And you're making a lot of sense, because you buy it because you love Jack Danger, you like the theme, and you like the way it shoots. And you hope that the code's going to get there. And it has to get there, right? It just has to. For these, you know,
if they dropped it at this point, it would be awful.
I think so. I think it would be awful to the designer, the whole team, and everyone. They need to fix that. They need to get more what's going on in the future, make it more playable that way, so that we know what the hell we're doing, rather than just starting modes and multi-ball.
But to your point, like, you know, the Jack Danger, the game plays great. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, whether you like the theme or not, like, it's fun to shoot. It's super flowy. It's got all Jack's weird little loop-de-loop shots and misdirections where balls, like, are flying back at you in ways you don't expect. Like, it's a game that deserves to be finished. But every game should deserve to be finished. It's like, yeah, you know.
I said this to Ko on from Quarter Drop Arcade. He wants Godzilla and King Kong to talk to each other and play modes against each other, like NBA Fast Break. I said, if that happens before X-Men is completed, people are going to lose their mind. And he's, you know,
Yep.
I think I'm really right on that, Ko. Sorry about that, buddy.
I don't think they're going to do a hybrid thing. As cool as that would be, I want to live in a pinball world where that's where things go down. But I don't think that's Stern's future for Stern Insider Connect at all. But that would be neat.
It would be neat. I think eventually the future is going to be downloadable content and DLC. And if they don't do it, it makes a mistake.
I also agree.
They're just making a mistake. It makes no sense to me. I harp on this almost every damn podcast, Jeff, because it makes no sense. As a gamer, okay, give me a mode. Let me beta test the new code for you. As a Stern Insider Connect for $5.99 a month, I get the beta test code. Why would I not do that?
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more that it's going down the road of DLC, and it's a dangerous road. The pinball community needs to, like, stand up for that before it becomes an issue. You're already seeing it now. There's 2 Stern toppers that are $1,000, $2,000 or whatever to have stuff happen in your game. It's in Jaws and it's in D&D now for a character that you get to unlock by purchasing a topper.
Right.
And
what's the difference?
The messed up thing about that is that, like, okay, if you look at video games, because this is like the closest comparison, right? The video game market changed their model to provide a free game and then charge you for the services afterwards. If Stern wants to send out free pinball machines to everybody, awesome. I'm on board for DLC.
Yeah,
but you're not. You're charging $10,000 for a pinball machine.
Yeah, but I still paid $500.
You're nickel and diming people for more.
I still paid $500. I still paid $500 for the console, and I paid $59 for the game, more than likely. Not just you know, not Fortnite and such, but you know, Call of Duty.
But there's live service games where you don't have to pay for it, and you can choose to buy in other stuff. But
totally,
there's plenty of companies. I mean, Bethesda is like the most horrendous company at this. Them and Paradox are 2 good examples of a company that charges full price for a game and then charges so much more for content that, again, based on the fear of missing out principles, that, like, you know, well, if you don't have the expansion pack, you can't play with your friends. And it's like, well, I better pony up another $20 or $30 for it. And it's like, it's predatory practice, and it's so not what pinball is about. I know this, but if you give me an opportunity to pay $100
and I'm going to get something really, really cool, I might do it. I'm just saying that I'm weak, Jeff. That's really what I'm saying. Is that I'm weak. I'll do it, and I won't yell about it. So we need people like Jeff in this hobby that are going to take the mantle and say, hey, this is enough, because Jamie's not, because I'm just going to do it. And then
look, if D&D was a better shooting game and they started releasing campaigns as DLC, but they were like meaningful, like they really completely changed everything about what the adventure felt like and stuff, like there's an argument for value there, right? But if you're adding, like, for example, like, you know, you saw that they had this like magic sword that you could like instantly kill the boss with, right? Mm-hmm. If you're preying on people's lack of skill, and then you're like, hey, if you give me $2, you can get this magic sword that can like absolutely destroy this final boss, and you can then see the end of the game, right? That's starting to edge on the world of predatory business practices, because you're using people's lack of skill and then want to see something and then charging for it. That's messed up. Don't do that.
Oh, you're making some really good points on the T chart here, but I'm going to pay the $2.
Sorry, Stern's never going to sell me another pinball machine after you put this online anyway. So,
no, yeah, they will. Distributors don't care.
I'm trying to get Kyle. I've been having a lot of issues with my Stern game, so I've been BFFs with most of Stern's customer support for the last couple of months. But Kyle said that he would like to be on this. If they'll allow him to be on the podcast, he'll be on. And I think that could be a fascinating discussion. What is it like? What is dealing with customer service, and what does the back end of that look like at Stern? I'm going to find out if they'll let me.
I think that's a great podcast, Jeff. That's a fantastic podcast. And I look, they all try their best. They're not trying to put garbage out like Homepin and then hope you're not going to say anything, right? I mean, I guarantee you they're trying their best, but when things get moved, pinball machines break, and they get effed up in transit, and sometimes.
It's totally true. And I've said 1,000 times on my podcast, like, you know, the people that make pinball machines aren't trying to make a bad game. They're not trying to piss off their consumers. They're not trying to pick IPs just to upset people. Like, you know, people were really upset that Barrels made Dune, and it was just like, man, come on. They're doing it because they think that Dune is cool. They had an opportunity for the IP acquisition, and they're trying to make a game that people that like Dune would like. Like, they want to make a great game.
Yes, I literally know almost every person there, and I guarantee you they're trying their damnedest. Okay, they want to make a good game. You know, so
the only company I can think of that was like doesn't care if they make a good game is maybe American Pinball.
Yeah, well,
that's not because they didn't try. Yeah. But like, you know, they picked up a lot of talented people. Like Steve Bowden was doing rule sets and stuff for most of their games, and Steve's great. And like,
very talented.
You know, like those people love and care about pinball.
They do.
So
they do, and God bless them all, Jeff. This is such a fun hobby. I absolutely love it. I could tell you're having the time of your life, man. I could tell.
This has been a recent obsession for sure. Like, you know, ask my partners and everything. I just have gotten obsessed with trying to do pinball stuff. And it's just because I totally love talking about pinball, playing pinball, interacting with people that are new to pinball. We've had some people that jump on the stream because I found it for some reason or another. Like, for example, like the pinball category was messed up for a while, which that was my fault, full disclosure, but only because I was trying to add a description to it. And so we had a few people that jumped in when we went to like the hot tub category, because as a way of fighting back Twitch messing up our pinball category, I started streaming on a bunch of weird categories. Not a good idea, by the way. But we had a few people that didn't ever be exposed to pinball, and by the end of it, I totally all in. Like, we got one guy who started renting games and is now looking for a Godzilla 70th to buy. So
that's what
I just want to
get
more people in the hobby.
Get more people in the hobby that don't have this hair that is this color. Okay, that's important. Okay,
dude, Silver Fox. What are you talking about?
No. Look, my wife likes it. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, you know. We need some people that don't have this and that have hair. So that would be great. Yeah. The younger generation needs... Every time we had an event at the Wormhole that there were youth, they loved it. They got addicted.
That's awesome.
Because and it was interesting to me, the games that they played the most of But when we see them at Eureka Heights and we see the younger generation, they gravitate towards the first quarter. The first dollar is a theme that they know. Oh my God, I didn't know Pulp Fiction made a pinball machine. I didn't know Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine. You got to get that second dollar. That's the key. And you're not going to have a pinball person like me stand over them all the time saying, look, here's what you really need to do. So that's the barrier, right? Is they don't know what to do. They don't know that the in lanes do this and that does that. And all because these games are very, very complicated now.
True.
So that's going to be a tough barrier sometimes. Is like, how do you get more people in? How do you get the gamers in? We need more content to those people. We need more reach out.
So I think that's Stern's next. I don't know if you saw the acquisition of the marketing IP person that they posted like a while ago.
I got to talk to him a little bit. Yeah.
So that guy came from Vivendi and some other companies that kind of purchased IPs for, I'm going to mess up some of this, so don't quote me on this, but from what I remember, they were responsible for a rights acquisition for a number of companies that were doing crossover stuff with younger generation games. I think it is possible. We've seen a lot of rumors talking about Pokemon this and that. I don't, whether it's going to be Pokemon or not. Stern is trying to dip into crossover IPs with younger generational stuff. And I think we're going to be seeing some weird games that aren't, targeted towards us over 40 guys. And it'll be interesting to see. If they make great pinball machines, awesome. The theme is just a go to paint,
Yeah.
So
it is. I mean, I could care less about Dungeons and Dragons. Never roll the dice. Never roll the die. But I like it. I like the game. Contrary to your beliefs. You haven't swayed me yet, Jeff.
It's just not fun, man.
I like it.
Fun. Pinball should be fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. No worries.
There's a lot of games that I like that other people don't. So
sure. There's a ton of games that I like. If people are like, what is this dude? I got addicted to Dialed In for a long time. And
Dialed In's great. That's like one of Jersey Jack's best.
I think so too, but there are people that just hate it. They just don't like it. They get that EMP mode one time and they just freak out. It pisses them off so much, which it does because that's a bullshit mode. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I digress. So what's next? I mean, you've got Rachel Kale. You're interviewing a bunch of different people. Are you thinking YouTube channel, or are you going to stay more with Twitch? Because you're doing stuff on Instagram and Facebook, right? Or mostly just Instagram?
Yeah, no, Facebook. I remember when I was like, oh God, I guess this is like actually happening, and I should do some research on what to do. Like one of the main things was like they were like, pick a platform and stick to it. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, Twitch automates a lot of the output towards Instagram and YouTube. So I was like, I'm gonna like have shorts and stuff do that. But I don't want to just be a Twitch streamer that's up there getting angry, yelling at their game and talking about what is good or bad about a game, or just buying every new game so that they're available for people to stream. Like, that's not interesting to me. I had started making videos of like slow motion playfield, like trailers, like promo videos for games that I really liked or games that were in my collection. And then the podcast, it's just, I don't know. I want to make meaningful pinball content, and I don't really have an answer for what that means right now. 4 months ago, which is when the channel started, it was me Twitch streaming my Twilight Zone. Now it's a podcast where I'm trying to talk to people that own pinball companies. And I want to talk to somebody that's on the line, like baking games. Like, pinball isn't defined by these designers and producers, right? Like, there's other parts that go into pinball production. And I think that's, whether it's interesting to a mass audience, I want it to be like on YouTube so that somebody who is interested in how that happens or what goes on with that process, it's available to them.
I didn't have any luck. I had good luck with Twitch in the beginning. And then when I left the Wormhole, I decided not to go to Twitch and just do YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
But you had such an amazing, like, not practice run. I mean, it sucks that Wormhole is not around, but like, you you can run that gambit again now and onboard yourself as I mean, everyone already knows and respects you as a pinball person who loves to share their experience with it. And what I love about your content is like, none of it feels manufactured. It's so genuine. I feel like I'm on, following Jamie in his life and his experience through what he loves about pinball. And to me, I think people really resonate with that. At least
I think so. I do. I think what they're getting is a clown that just fell in love with this hobby that used to be a pretty good golfer, for God's sakes. And my clubs are in storage. I'm not even joking. They're in storage. I'm so addicted to this hobby and what it's done. So we got to talk about Harry Potter. Okay. Because
probably should, huh?
I mean, we should, only because it's coming out Thursday and we're Tuesday. And so I'm thinking we just release this tomorrow because we're going to get hammered with the Harry Potter content on Thursday.
Other than Harry Potter.
Yeah, right? It's just going to be Harry Potter Thursday and Friday and over the weekend. So I'll put this out tomorrow.
For sure.
But it's got to be good, right?
Hopefully it is. But why does it have to be good?
I just think with spending that much money on an IP that's bigger than any IP that anyone has ever spent, they can't put out.
I'm not a huge fan of Eric's other games.
Fair. It's a fair assessment
Pirates
to
is
people.
Good.
Okay.
Pirates is good. But
Pirates
Guns N'
really
Roses and Godfather, those are not fun games for Jeff.
So I haven't had enough time.
Like those games.
I haven't had enough time on Godfather to give an opinion on that, but I have a ton of time on GNR and I dig it. Now, I think GNR is a home game, no question. All right. It is a game, multi-ball nutty. They fixed it with a little code update, but it is designed to sit in your house and delve, man, and just get into it, right? Is it designed to go to the local arcade and put quarters in it? Absolutely not. Just not. You won't know what the hell you're doing. It takes too long.
People bounce off of it because the rules aren't like, it's not immediately transparent on like what you should be doing, and getting big scores is like kind of hard, but you have to know how to actually build the jackpot value for each of the song modes that you're in.
And once you do that,
it's beautiful.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
And
but that's happened with Venom too, like people bounced off Venom initially because of, not understanding the rule set so much for it. And I mean, that game's so combo heavy and so combo driven that if you aren't doing that, then you're not going to like the game.
No.
Your scores aren't going to be good or whatever. So I don't think money being thrown at a game necessarily is going to make it awesome. I think that it will have the most impressive technology and music and art package. Like, I love the new cabinet art. I know people were absolutely pooping on it, but Mirabella, it's the company that produces all the visual assets for Harry Potter, and it's such a breath of fresh air. It doesn't look like a movie poster. Great.
But this community, So by the time this gets released tomorrow, someone will release the playfield, right? It's just the way it is in our hobby.
I'm surprised. If it gets leaked, I would be surprised, just because of since the franchise is what it is. I think they're really tight-lipped about it, but I don't know. If it gets leaked, awesome. Let's dive into it. Let's take a look.
I don't like leaks. I don't like them. Do you like them? I think the artists and everything, they have a plan. They have a launch date, which is Thursday. They have all these people that have busted their absolute ass to launch this correctly, and then some potato head gets a copy of the playfield, puts it up, and then somebody calls it a rainbow sherbet. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah. But the devil's advocate to that is that, like, people love to play the speculation. The hunt for like game info before it actually releases is like almost part of like the pinball process at this point, right?
It is. There's a bunch of them that do it, and they do it well. Nap does well, and Chris does well, and
right.
and Colin.
And other, the other side of that is that people like kind of complain about how the process of trailers have been done and released for games. I do think that could be improved a little bit, but like people don't like the hype trailers, and it's like, well, but they work and they do drum up like info and interest in the game. So it's like, yeah, I get that you're frustrated about it, but also like it functions the purpose of releasing the game very well. So Kaneda was really, really against the Barrels launch for Dune, like we're almost unnecessarily so. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, like what do you want to have happen then? And like also like what qualification do you have any opinion about that whatsoever? Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's why I lost my mind on them, because I was just like, come on, man. All right. I have such a great friend at Barrels of Fun that spent all day on that launch and work their butts off and get home, and someone is in their house listening to Kaneda's live reaction. Do you think that's the first thing they want to hear when they come home?
And
right?
Not at all. And I talked to David about that too. It's like, people don't get that also, like everyone that's working on these pinball machines, like they have feelings and they're not trying to make a shitty game. Exactly. So like as soon as they get back and see your commentary rip them apart, like that's going to be so demotivating. And it's to service what? Like, what are you getting out of it from telling somebody that their work is terrible?
Brother,
when they're
I
trying
have
to
no
do
idea.
best?
If you could figure that out, you'll solve a lot of problems in our community.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's a solution to that. I think it's human nature, but
it is
for some people.
So Thursday, we'll see the gameplay trailer, and then we'll see the featurette.
Yeah, I would imagine so if it follows JJP's previous like release stuff.
So that'll be fun, and I hope it's a banger for them. I really do. They need a banger.
Agreed. I think I've bounced off JJP games. I just don't really like them for the most part, and it's not because like I think Elton John's amazing. I don't really like Music Pins. I thought Avatar's layout and everything was really amazing, but I just don't care about Avatar enough as an IP that I want to have it as a product in my home. So. I don't care about Harry Potter. There's a bunch of reasons why I'm not going to get one. But I do really want it to be an amazing game because I want pinball to be more successful and for everyone. And, yeah.
So the theme does nothing for you. You're not a muggle. You don't love it. You're not a Hufflepuff. You don't give a rat's.
I'm not. I think they're fine movies. I just think it's a retelling of the Star Wars story. I mean, it's literally about a kid that has parents that aren't really their parents, and then goes to an old wise man that teaches him how to use magic, and then he goes and saves the world from a big bad guy. I mean, it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is also a bunch of other film or stories,
Yeah, it's the same story that it's Dune. It's a lot of different things, right? But
totally.
Damn it, Jeff! Do I not love those damn wizards? And
which is great. There's nothing wrong with loving Harry Potter. I don't no shade on anybody who loves Harry Potter.
Yeah, I don't really love the creator very much, but that's a whole other topic. And you can go on the Collins Facebook and you can see that discussion, because I don't know.
It's a pretty simple topic. She's a transphobic piece of shit.
She's a bad person.
She is. She's a bad pinball person.
She's a bad pinball person. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad pinball people, and I just hope that as a community we get over the person that created it and just enjoy a really awesome pinball machine that I hope brings more people to this great hobby.
Yeah, I think it's up to everybody's personal opinion to make a decision about that. It's not the first time creatively people that are not awesome have come out. I mean, look at Kevin Spacey. It's like, well, do you want to watch a Kevin Spacey film now afterwards, or do you separate that and enjoy the filmmaking and the story that is that character? And I think that answer is different for each person. I think for some people, it's going to be a big issue and don't buy it and don't support it. Awesome. That's great. And for other people, they're probably not going to care. They just want a really great pinball machine. You do you.
Yeah. Very, very well said. What else you want to talk about? I've got nothing else for you, brother. I think we've hammered it on for about 50 minutes.
We can't go out on that note. That's such a negative note.
It's so negative. You're totally right. All right. Let me see what else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious, I would love, Wormhole was such an amazing spot that I'm sad that it never really hit.
Oh, you're going to try to get me to tell about what happened there?
No, I know. I don't want to talk about that on the podcast. I expect this to be edited out.
Breaks,
but
no. I won't. It breaks my heart. And it just does. But I am so in love with pinball and so in love with the Houston community that I just want to continue to create content and to showcase these great people and to showcase these great arcades across America and all these great things.
That's awesome.
I'm so addicted to it.
Well, that's why I was so bummed out about. Sorry,
yeah, and you never know, man. You just never know what could happen down in the future, right? But when personal things happen, they just happen. And you could either sit back and whine about it, or you can go, all right, no worries, no pasa nada.
So you asked me about the doing the stream thing. It's like, that's so hard, but like, man, running an arcade, like it's like that same concept times like a million. You know, you've got to service games on top of being a streamer.
Yeah,
like it seemed like so much more work.
We had phenomenal techs and John Spates and great people that handled that side. I could just be the face and the goofball and stay in my lane, right? I can't replace a rubber, dude. Okay. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, I can.
I can show you. It's pretty easy.
I'm not that bad, but if a flipper needs a rebuild, Jamie's not the guy, right? I know my lane. I know where I should be, right? I don't change my own oil. I don't know how to do it. All right. I go to 30-minute oil and it's done. 5-minute, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, but you can't pull up and put your pinball machine in there for $15 and get it fixed. Like,
no, but thank God
I do it yourself.
I know a lot of people. Thank God. And they're very generous. They let me borrow their games. And so, you know, I only own one game. That's it.
Bowen's like that too. But dude, I respect that. I mean, that just shows that you enjoy and can go to on location places for pinball and be involved in community more than anything. I've noticed that the people that own one game are active in the community about going to like bars and arcades and whatnot, as opposed to like, you know, crotchety old men like me that have a bunch of games and hide in their homes.
No, I've just been I've always been an outgoing dude, right? And so I like going out to the community. I like going to Erie Guides and I like going to play pinball. I have no problem spending $1. I might even save money if I would just buy some of these that I am addicted to right now. But like Evil Dead, I couldn't even get an Evil Dead if I wanted one right now. And it's so damn great that I've been putting so much dollars in the Evil Dead. Have you played Evil Dead a lot?
I love it. It's great. It has broken a few times on tilt, so we haven't been able to put as much time as I wanted into it. But the times that I got to play it, it's just Spooky absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I'm so glad to see a smaller, like I hope Harry Potter is good because I want more pinball machines, but the companies that need big wins are not Jersey Jack and Stern. They're Turner, they're, you know, Barrels of Fun, there's Spooky. Well, we didn't even talk about Predator.
Yeah, we haven't talked about
Pinball Brothers dropping a new game.
What are they doing? They're dropping. Are they trying to drop the same time, or do you think they'll drop next week?
I don't know what.
They got to.
Why are you going to release a pinball? But you think Predator's going to have any chance standing up against the like largest IP in like the history of since Star Wars? Like no. But I don't know, man.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm not a marketing expert. I don't know, Jeff. I don't. But I think Predator could be pretty cool. I want to play it. I'll tell you that much.
I hope it's going to be pretty cool. I didn't get into a lot of the 80s stuff. I grew up overseas, so I didn't get into a lot of the 80s stuff until I came back to the States. So I missed out on, you know, I was watching Pink Panther in Arabic on TV instead of like a lot of these like films. So when I got back to the States, I like kind of binged through it. So, but yeah.
So yeah, you didn't get to see the crap that we went to see in the movie theater and thought that I just rewatched Predator just 2 weeks ago, just because I knew it was coming out and I'm like sitting it up. I can't go to bed and let me watch this. The sound is so bad, right? If you rewatched it now, the cheesiness of the score of Predator is so bad. So bad.
Oh, but it's Alan Silvestri, isn't it? Hold on.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Silvestri.
It's just cheese whiz. And the dialogue is cheesy whiz, but it's great. It puts you back into that 12-year-old kid that went and got to see a PG-13 movie and just think that this is the coolest shit in the world, right? I mean, but
it's also like if who cares if the film's not good, right? Because the pinball machine is, I would imagine that they have all of the assets because Alien did, right? I think Alien had almost
Alien
all
did.
Right.
They didn't. Well, Alien didn't have Ripley, and when Highway released,
I guess Sigourney Weaver didn't give her likeness to them. It's probably too much money.
And then when Pinball Brothers bought Highway's license, if you will, and redid a Ripley edition, and it's much better.
So Predator is Alan Silvestri. So if you like Back to the Future, it's same composer.
All right, sorry, Alan, but it's a little cheese whiz on when they're in the jungle, and I'm hearing.
I told David this. You know what theme I want to see? I want to see a Conan pinball machine.
Really?
Conan's got the video assets. Conan's got Basil Palladores scores amazing. Think of Starship Troopers. Oh my God, I would buy a Conan pinball machine in a heartbeat.
I can't get into
What is best in life? Jamie, what is best in life?
I don't know the movie enough to quote it.
Oh my God.
It was lost on me.
I said, not everybody agrees with what pinball machines I like, which is great. So great. That's why there's so many options.
I know. And I wish them luck. Honestly, I swear to God, I wish them luck. And I hope it's not an ABBA theme. And I hope they don't just use all the ABBA helicopters and try to stick it on the upper right. And I hope that
can you imagine if they just painted Predator stuff over the helicopter?
That's what home pin
that would be amazing.
I mean, they would.
It's going to be a wide body. They said that.
Okay, good.
They agreed. I think Stern should not be afraid to make a wide body personally, but JJP's got that covered. There's plenty of other companies doing it. So.
Yeah, there's plenty of other companies. I don't like wide bodies because I'm a streamer and it's a pain in my ass to make my rig bigger.
Wait, do you have to move your legs for it?
No, I used to.
Didn't you get Carl's?
I used to, but I fixed that with Carl's design. But my first design,
yeah, Carl's frame. Yeah, I have the same one, and it's big enough for that.
We're building something really badass. I'll leave it this, right? We are building something really badass for Eureka Heights because they've got these credit card readers to the right of a lot of the machines. And I can't use the Carl Tom slide over. I have to use an L shape for those that
you're going hangman style.
I'm going hangman.
You gotta buy a vowel now or something, right?
I'm going hangman, and it's going to rotate. The top will rotate so that I can put it on one machine. I can stream the machine to the right of it or stream the machine to the left of it.
That's pretty smart.
Pretty smart people here working on this rig. Pretty good.
Wait, so when are you going to start streaming, man? Dude, if you're streaming on Twitch, please tell me you're going to stream on Twitch because I would love to raid you. Drop you some.
I know. I'm not streaming on Twitch. I'm only going to do YouTube.
It's one button.
You think I should use the yellow box and stream on both and just create a Twitch channel?
You can do it. You can do it. There's Restream. There's a bunch of services that do it. It adds
with the yellow box. I could do it with.
Yeah, hit the buttons. But then you can't do all the cool OBS stuff like rewards and things like that.
No, I can't. I suck at that anyway, Jeff. I never give everyone awards. And, then it's like hydrate or some bullshit. And I never know what to do. And I suck at the chat emojis. And so I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm just going to go to YouTube. It's just easier for me. Well, I mean,
you're already doing good staying hydrated. You've drank at least 3 or 4 times on this.
Yeah, but that's Diet Coke
right now. So you don't need someone to tell. It's funny. You obviously have your Diet Coke fixation. For me, it's Spindrift. And Tyler White also is a Spindrift fanatic. We keep joking we're going to try to get Spindrift to sponsor us. But, maybe. We'll see.
Diet Coke doesn't even know who I am.
I have the same addiction. It's just Spindrift for me.
What is Spindrift?
It's just water with fruit in it. It really is. It was so I would stop drinking so much. So I started drinking water.
Does it have caffeine in it?
Yeah. No, it's just water.
That's a waste of my time.
Carbonated water.
That's a waste of time.
Sorry.
You're wasting my time.
Well, I'm saying that's my poison. I get it. Diet Coke is yours. You got to bring that Diet Coke Reserve. Where you're streaming, do they have an emergency Diet Coke supply?
Always.
Are you
Always.
set?
Always.
Okay, cool.
Always. I don't go anywhere. I'm going to be out for 2 weeks, June 18th to July 4th. I'm going to be in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. We'll end at this.
Right, we talked about that. Whitewater rafting. We've both done that. It's so you've done it before, I thought, right?
I've done it before. I've done 7.
Yeah.
I did the lower. So now I'm doing the entire canyon.
Amazing.
And
I'm jealous.
The joke is when you go through these, you go through an exploration company, right? You go through a rafting firm, and they sent us the drink menu. Now, I barely drink alcohol very much. I don't drink that much alcohol. And so I used all of my drink tickets, if you will, for Diet Pepsi. I had to buy Diet Pepsi because they don't have Diet Coke. And I'm like, so pissed off that I'm going to be spending 15 days in the Grand Canyon with Diet Pepsi. And I begged them.
What's weird about that?
I'll pay anything for the Diet Coke.
What's blowing my mind about that is that basically that the big soda decided to go, they split up all the fast food restaurants between Coke and Pepsi. And somebody was like, we should get the whitewater rafting market.
Yeah.
So they
went 20 of us going on this
now
trip.
Owns it.
They own it.
What? Weird.
I'm pissed off, but it'll be fine. But I'm going to be out of pocket, so I'm going to be downloading as much content as possible, so I can listen at night in the bottom of the Grand Canyon and have a ball. And with my Zens, by the way, we are sponsored by Zen, and I'm on.
Cool. I don't know what a Zen is, but
it's a nicotine pouch.
Oh, cool,
dude! I'm hyped up all day long on caffeine and nicotine all day long,
dude. I plow through espresso. I smoked for a long time. I've switched vices now, and since then, it's been a different road.
Yeah, so. I like that different road as well. But my mom listens, so we can't talk about that. My friend Jeff, thank you so much. When you first reached out to us via Instagram, I said to Colin Alsheimer, I said, I got to get him on the podcast as soon as possible because he's going to be too big and then he's not going to want to come on my podcast because I think what you're doing quality wise, video wise, audio wise, top notch. And then I love what you're bringing to the hobby. Thank you so much, Jeff from Dirty Pinball. Where can people follow you, brother?
I'm first off, man, I really appreciate that. And you were one of the first inspirations, on top of all of the classics and greats, I'm talking about Bowen and Jack Danger and all that for trying to get into streaming. You opened the door. You invited me to be on the Wormhole podcast when Wormhole was still a thing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the faith that you have in me in that regard. But I'm not trying to be big and I'm not doing this for numbers. If people enjoy pinball, I know that's not what you're implying, but I just want people to know that.
No, that's what I know that I think that we need more genuine people in the hobby. There are so many bullshit artists in this hobby, and I've had it with them. Yeah. And when you find someone genuine that has the same passion as you have, I can't help but spend an hour and 3 minutes with that person. Right? I just can't.
Appreciate that. I'm tired of looking at billion score point posts on Reddit. And honestly, that frustrated me so much that I was just like, I can't believe that our pinball is just billion score posts. Yeah. Why is there not more original content? And that's what I'm trying to fill a hole. I'm just doing it to try to make Reddit a better place.
You're doing it. God bless you. I've never been on Reddit pinball because I heard it's too much.
It's a horrible place.
Yeah.
Horrible place.
I can't even. I have a tough time with the comment section on my podcast and such. There's always one.
There's mean people out there. And you got to really have a thick skin once you start doing this.
It sends me into a tizzy. All right. I lose my mind. And then I call Ralph and I text Kale and I call Kale and they're always telling me the same thing. Why are you even reading this? And then someone will do the same thing to Ralph. And then he calls me and I say, why are you even reading this? And
it's cute that you guys have this therapy structure set up.
Well, we've become very, very close friends through this and the Pinball Roundtable.
Totally. I remember your Stern. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the Pinball Roundtable we're going to record next week. And it's just been a lot of fun. And the Stern, when we go to Stern, I just gravitate towards those clowns, right? I'm just going to hang out with them because it's like a reunion for me.
You guys have a great chemistry too, man. That's what I was going to say is like the Stern broadcast. It's just like, I feel like I'm watching three people that like really care about the hobby and aren't there to just like pitch whatever Stern's latest game or whatever.
No,
like, it was at Stern, but it really wasn't like about Stern.
Yeah, it wasn't like a shill fest, and that's why I think people like that. So, and that was on the damn YOLO box. Shout out to YOLO Box Extreme. That was I think an Ultra that was able to stream that. Nope, and easy, right?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm going to find out. I'm going to be asking you about that.
Yeah, dude, I have surpassed Ralph's knowledge, so I don't even waste his time anymore asking him questions because I have delved into that box so much that there's things that we need to do, and hopefully they listen and they can allow us to draw on the screen, allow the web interface to get a little bit better, and
maybe integrating it with OBS would be nice.
Yeah, you know how OBS you can use chat, right? And you can display the chat, so when they rewatch it, the chat is live with what you're doing. Can't do that.
Weird.
It's not available yet, dude.
Not yet, right?
No, but I'm going to stay on them just like all the X-Men people are going to stay on them, and we'll get what we want, which is a better future for all of us.
For pinball. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Anyways, to answer your question for finding me, it is Dirty Pool Pinball. I can't believe you're calling me Dirty Pinball or Dirty Pool.
Dude, I called you Dirty Pinball all day.
I know. That's okay. I wasn't going to call you out. I figured you can cut this out when you get to the end.
How the hell?
Because it is, people don't realize it's one of the best Easter eggs. It's one of the best Easter eggs in pinball.
It's Dirty Pool Pinball. Of course, I know this. I watch you and follow you, and I've listened to every podcast, and I've been calling you Dirty Pinball. What an asshole.
Sorry.
Well, you could
people call me dirty all the time.
I'm not an expert, okay? I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I just love this damn hobby, and I love talking to you, Dirty Pool Pinball, on Twitch, on Instagram.
Kale, I've really enjoyed this, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Dirty Pool Pinball. I mean, I try to keep it pretty much the same for all the platforms. It's Dirty Pool Pinball on YouTube, Dirty Pool Pinball on Instagram. It's Dirty Pool Pinball on Twitch. Come down, hang out, be part of the cult. We have fun,
dude. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And good luck, man.
Thank you, man. All praise the Great Pyramid.